You're watching Fox 9 All Day.
And welcome back to Fox 9 All Day. It's 12:25 on this really, really beautiful Tuesday. It is a great time to be a Timberwolves fan. You know, we've had the team making the playoffs. It's pretty regularly now. We're getting so spoiled. We know there's new ownership. And Marc, Lori, and Alex Rodriguez are definitely eyeing a new arena. So where will it be? Who's going to pay for it? Will they add 3 times as many women's bathrooms as men's, as they should? Nick Halter is a reporter who's been on this from Axios. Thanks for being with us, Nick.
Hey, Amy, thanks for having me. We could use more men's bathrooms, too. I can confirm that, having been to a lot of upper-level Timberwolves games over the years.
I hear you. All right. And you almost didn't join us. I have to apologize for not sending you the link. That was like rookie mistake on my part. I'm like, is Nick on yet? No. Oh, he doesn't have the link. Okay, so my bad. Thanks for joining us on All Day. So let's set the table for folks. You know, how dated is Target Center? And, you know, are they just going to tear it down, do you think, and start over in the same spot?
Yeah, you could make the case that it was dated the day it opened because it's a rare arena that was built upside down. There are more seats on the second level than there are on the first level, which is just almost unheard of. They kind of crammed it into this small little site, and as a result, you don't have enough bathrooms, as you mentioned before. The concession stands are limited, especially on the second concourse level. There's not as many clubs or lounges or premium seating options that a lot of other NBA arenas have. And so it's sort of obsolete. It is the second oldest arena in the NBA, early 90s. It was built, and, you know, even like Madison Square Garden's older, but it's been completely overhauled over that time. I don't think there's any chance they'll build it where it is now, just because that site is so small.
Oh, okay. So then we have to start looking at some other options here. And you guys put together a map, or you did. I don't know if Ryan, yeah. So walk us through some of these options. And we're just kind of looking, you can see the concentration there. These are Minneapolis sites, right?
Yeah, these are Minneapolis sites, and you know, the most obvious one is the Farmers Market site, just because it has been floated for previously the Minnesota United soccer team for the Vikings. It's a lot of land. It's pretty close to downtown, although somewhat isolated from downtown, which I think is one of the issues with it. There's freeways sort of blocking you getting in and out of downtown, which on foot, I should say. But there is a lot of land there. There's a future light rail stop that's going to be there when the Green Line extension opens. The post office site is maybe a bit of a pipe dream. I think it would be really cool, but a lot of that building is historic, and I don't know if there's quite enough land there. The Graco campus just came on available. You know, the Graco is moving out of there, and it's a huge piece of property. It's right on the river. I could see how the owners would want to build kind of an entertainment district around it. There's enough land there. It does lack any parking. It's a bit of a ways from a freeway. So, and then you put City Center on there, which is one that I've floated a few months ago, just because it is right on Nicollet Mall. It's a mostly vacant office tower. Target used to be there. They moved everyone out. It's a super block. The benefit would be you could have an entrance right on Nicollet Mall, and you can sort of imagine what that would do to Nicollet Mall with people, open container laws on Nicollet Mall, as the mayor has talked about, hanging out before a game, that type of a thing.
Yeah. So a lot of pros and cons. So So these are your thoughts. Have the owners put anything out there specifically, anything like that, or are you thinking this is kind of what they need to narrow it down to based on what's available?
Yeah, the owners, I mean, while they have been sort of progressing into this position where they take over the franchise over the past 4 years, they haven't really been able to do a lot for site searching. And the reason for that is because the staff was still working for Glenn Taylor while this was going on. And I don't think he wanted to dedicate a ton of his resources into finding a new arena for, you know, what wouldn't be his team. So they really haven't begun this thing. I have just done some reporting, calling landlords, calling real estate experts, just to gauge what might be feasible and what might happen. And the big precipice for this to me is that, you know, 6 years ago, finding a bunch of land in downtown Minneapolis would have been really, really hard because it was so expensive. And now what you have is these office values in downtown Minneapolis have fallen. Towers are worth nothing or next to nothing. You've got more land. The land has gotten cheaper. So the point I try to bring up is that, you know, this is kind of a nice once in an opportunity time to buy a bunch of land in downtown if you want to do it in downtown.
I'm thinking they need to hire you as a land scout, maybe. You be part of the team.
I'm pretty happy where I am right now.
But if A-Rod came calling, Nick, I mean, if the money's right. Just kidding. We want you to stay reporting too, so you can bring us, great work like this. We really appreciate it. So let's talk about, because I'm glad you mentioned that, because traditionally, you think, well, the suburbs is where you're going to get the bang for your buck. So where do the suburbs kind of sit in all of this, as far as, like, say, a Bloomington, something like that?
Yeah, I think suburban landlords and maybe even cities are already trying to get in front of A-Rod and Marc Lore to tell them about their sites. They really want to. To me, it feels like a bit of a long shot, just because NBA, there really is no arena that isn't in the city proper. It's sort of just, that's the type of league it is, where these are typically in downtowns. The one exception is the LA Clippers play in Inglewood, which is not way out of the.
And LA is like everything, right? They call everything LA pretty much. So,
Yeah. Exactly. That being said, I do think if there was a suburban offer to be made, the most logical one would be Bloomington, right next to Mall of America.
Okay.
You've got light rail there, you've got parking, you've got a lot of the infrastructure you need to, have 20,000 people coming and going from a game. You also have a light rail stop there as well. And Bloomington has this sort of war chest of money available for development around there from Mall of America tax proceeds that they could entice the owners with some subsidies if they wanted to. They have up to $400 million as of last time around. So that would be the logical place. I mean, the one, if you were to go suburbs, that's not super far away. It's somewhat centrally located. Still, it's right by the airport as well. So I do see some logic in that.
Yeah, that does make sense. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that the new owners have said that they are prepared to fully finance this privately. However, so will it come down to, which community can kind of pony up the best deal for them, do you think?
Yeah, they've said that they're prepared to pay for it privately, but they haven't said that they wouldn't ask for money. And so you do kind of play this out in your head. And what if a suburb offers a bunch of money? Does the city feel like they need to do something then to keep them? Because, I'm of the belief that downtown Minneapolis has been really helped in its recovery from the pandemic and bringing people back downtown by sports. I mean, sports has been great for downtown Minneapolis. And without them, I don't know where either downtown would be, frankly, without people coming down there for sports and concerts and that type of a thing. So you can sort of see why that would be difficult. We interviewed the mayoral candidates about that, and all of them pretty much said they're not into offering a big subsidy, a direct subsidy for the arena. The question will be, will they offer what every other arena in town has, which is a property tax exemption? You don't have to pay property taxes. Yeah,
and that's, I guess, kind of where I was going to go next too. As a a resident or citizen of these areas, I think back, and you'll appreciate this, right? So way back in the day, we are traumatized by the North Stars leaving, largely in part because they couldn't get a new arena. And then on the flip side, we have the Vikings want a new arena, and let's just do e-pull taps. And the darn thing's paid off ahead of schedule. So as fans, we're kind of like, whoa, we go from trauma to like, wow, that worked out great. Will there be an effect on, on things like a tax increase, or, how will that trickle down, if at all, to the average person, whether they like sports or not?
Yeah, it would really depend. It doesn't feel like at this day and age there's a huge appetite for a big public subsidy for a billionaire arena. And I say that because I think on the kind of the progressive left side of it, it's an anti-billionaire sentiment. But on the right, it's like a fiscal conservative argument. And I think, Melissa Hortman, not long before she tragically died, one of the things she said was that exactly almost, which is that there's not much appetite at the state on either side for that type of a thing right now. So, who knows? Times change. Years from now, things could change. It takes a long time to get these deals done. But I do think that, the appetite for this is a lot less than it was 10 years ago when we were doing the Twins ballpark. We did the Vikings. Stadium, and we did the Minnesota. I'm sorry, Minnesota United was privately financed, but but we also did the St. Paul Saints ballpark.
That's right.
And the Target Center renovation, it was $1 billion worth of public subsidies in a period there, and I think coming now, the XL Energy Center wants more money. The Vikings want more money for maintenance. It's just a lot of asks, and I do just sort of have my doubts about how much politicians are going to jump on board for that.
For sure. A couple seconds left. What's our timeline here? How long do we think it's going to take to get a new arena?
Yeah, I would not think anytime in the very near future. It takes a long time to get these deals done with buying the land, getting whatever deals you have with the city, even if it's not direct subsidies, infrastructure, I'd be hesitant to guess too much, but I can't see it in less than 5 years, a new arena opening, and maybe 10. That's just how long these deals take. So.
I really like your city center idea. I'm just saying. Those of us remember
if it happens, I've told them I want a cut of proceeds.
You better. I'm telling you, there's something in there. All right, Nick Halter from Axios. Thank you for coming on our show. We really appreciate it, and we hope that we can steal you away from our morning friends again and have you on. It's been great.
Anytime. Happy to join, Amy.
Take care. All right. Bye, Nick.